Struggling to defend in FC26? You're not alone. Defending this year is super manual and one mistake can cost you the match. So I reached Division 4 and even qualified for the FC Pro Open Ladder. The video is split into two parts. The first part is going to be where I'll break down the tips and fundamentals you need to know to defend better. And then I'll show you live gameplay, which was my last match before getting promoted to Division 4 against a star-studded squad with players like Inform Haaland, Wirtz and Van Dijk. And you'll see exactly how these tips work in action. So let's get into it. Section 1. The defensive mindset. The number one rule in FC26 is patience and you need to be calm. Don't overcome it. Most players panic, rush their defenders forward and get punished. Instead, stay calm, contain the attacker, cut passing lanes and force them into mistakes. Remember, against good opponents, you might only get one chance to tackle and that one chance has to be timed perfectly. Now, moving on to formations. I started the year using 4-3-3 attack, but now I've switched to 4-4-2 because it gives me balance between defending and counter-attacking. If you prefer sitting deeper, maybe you can use the 4-4-2 holding, where your CDMs are the most important players. Look for high defensive stats and strong physicals because most of your defending is done with them, not with your centre backs. Your centre backs are just gonna make the tackle. Now let's head to section 3. Defensive fundamentals. You need to know these four important segments. First thing is the L2 jockey, where you completely slow down, stay in front of the attackers and slow them down, going for a challenge like a circle or like an R1 circle. Circle is standing tackle and R1 circle is aggressive standing tackle. Now, sprint jockey. This is done by holding the L2 and the R2 button. Use this when tracking back with CDMs, when you're trying to cover or contain or jockey your opponent as a CDM in front of the defender, or when your opponent is almost near the box, you would do sprint jockey and wait for your opponent to make a mistake. Right stick switching. Many people don't use right stick switching, but I feel like all of y'all should adapt to right stick switching. Most of them prefer L1 switching, but of course L1 switching always switches to the next person closest to the ball, even if you do player relative. So right stick switching helps switch to a person you want to switch to and defend. And right stick switching is done by moving the right analog stick towards the direction of the person you want to switch to. And the next part is the second man press. Second man press is done by holding the R1 button, where another player from your team who you're not controlling will be running towards your opponent. Mix and match these four things in between, like jockey, sprint jockey, right stick switching, second man press, and maintain your position. Make sure not to overcome it with the second man press. One thing to notice, I almost never rush in with my centre backs. I track back with the CDMs, cut passing lane and only switch to my centre backs when the opponent enters the box or plays a through ball. Take a look at this example. Never rush in with my centre backs. I track back with my CDMs, do the sprint jockey, hold, cover passing lanes and switching to my CB when I need to make a challenge. And once I switch to my CB, I either press circle or I press R1 circle. R1 circle is pretty effective. It's aggressive standing tackle and you should give it a try. Now let's go to section 4. Section 4 is advanced defending technique. Advanced defending technique, basically you go to your team management and switch your defending from tactical to advanced defending. Now, with advanced defending, you can cut through balls, standing tackles. Make sure you are looking at the opponent's runs. For example, L2 and R2 is sprint jockey, which is done by pressing L2 and R2 or LT and RT. When you are containing your opponent, keep moving back with the CDMs, and even when your opponent has beaten you at the midfield and is running towards your goal, Don't panic and rush your defender's front. Instead, track back, as in run back with your CDM till the time your opponent's striker is next to your defender. Either you are close to him and you perform an advanced defending challenge by pressing the X button, where he will run towards your opponent and shoulder push him and take the ball, or put pressure and switch to your defender and make a challenge. That's what advanced defending does. Either it's your CDM or your defender. When you're running next to him and when you're about to reach him, you press X and you aim towards your opponent. He will go and make a shoulder push and try to take the ball. Maybe once you're next to him and when you're doing the shoulder push, you can perform a standing tackle and take the ball. That's about advanced defending. Standing aggressive tackle can be performed by pressing R1 and circle for strength duels. And of course, do not hesitate to perform a sliding tackle. Also, you need to learn to do keeper movement. Pressing R3 for small movements, up or down, left or right, depending upon where your keeper is and your opponent might shoot. Your opponent might shoot. What I normally do is in the first 10 minutes, you study your opponent's shooting habits so you can anticipate their shooting pattern later in game and make this absolute banger of a save. Now let's go to section 5, example gameplay, which is my Division 4 promotion match. Now let's see how this works in practice. This was the last match I needed to win to reach Division 4. My opponent's team was stacked. Inform Haaland, Wirtz, Van Dijk, basically a dream squad. And here's how I handled it. Instead of rushing into tackles, I tracked back with my CDMs and forced him wide. When Haaland made runs in behind, I stayed patient, covered the passing lane and only switched to my centre back at the last second to cut him off. This patience and decision making is exactly what gave me the edge, and it's how I got promoted against a squad that was way stronger on paper against mine. So that's how I defend in FC 26. First, by staying patient and disciplined, and second, by using the right fundamentals and timing. Mix and match all these fundamentals like jockey, right stick switching, second man press, aggressive defending, slide tackling, aggressive standing tackle. Mix and match all these fundamentals with the keeper movement and your defense will become unstoppable. Okay, so let's get into the example. This is the last match that I needed to win. And this is the squad. Courtois, Van Dijk, Koundé, Frimpong, Rice. Look at that team. Wirtz and Mr. Haaland. Let's get into certain examples. Look at this mistake that I did here. I was just blindly running with Patry. I am BFC. Running blindly, pass the ball back and I'm blindly running with Patry. Give the ball away. And here, I should have waited and not gone for the tackle. Instead, I went for the tackle and Haaland just switched sides and took a shot. Let's get into certain examples. Okay, check this out. I lose the ball here. Instead of switching to my defender and covering that lane and this lane, what I do instead is bring my Tonali back. Run back with CDM, run back with CDM, run back with CDM. And I pressed X and he'll go and try to put a little pressure. And now I switch to Mendy, covering passing lane here, switch, bring Patry back, switch him here. Can you see how I'm maintaining switching back between CDMs, putting them back and feel free to bring back your LMs and RM to defend as well. Many of the times when I lose the ball, friend, I just don't switch to my defender and bring them back. Instead, I'll bring back a little bit of my striker or later on running back with Ronaldo. And I switch to these guys. trying to close them on with two and pulling back and trying to, cut the passing lane. Look here. Look back here. I noticed Haaland moving back and I quickly switched to Mendy and I went into that space where there is a passing opportunity for him. That is how you read the gameplay. Go back and press the standing tackle. That's what I did there. I went here and as soon as I was near Alexia Putellas, I pressed around circle where he went for the tackle and I got the ball. Let me show you with some controller examples. Check this out. See how Patry puts the pressure. So Wirtz is running. I'm running front with Parauelo and I press X and she just runs in and puts pressure here. See this? Most of the time, this is called advanced defending. Most of the time they do that and take the ball. Advanced defending can also be done for offensive. See, I lose the ball here. I press X again. Press X once more and it's gone and puts the pressure and takes the ball. Lose the ball here. Look at how I'm running back with Patry. Running. And then I switched. I only switched to Van der Ven when I knew I could get the ball. That way, instead of switching to your defender and pulling them front, by tracking back with Patry, the CDM is also back as well as the defender maintaining his position. I'm still pressing with Patry. Take a look at how OP advanced defending is when I press it with James. I press X here again, I press X here and again and I get the ball. Sometimes you can also play a mind game like this. I lose the ball here and he's running. You're running with the Rudiger. Here, like how I've said, notice how your opponent is shooting. Learn his shooting patterns and then move the keeper. Take a look at this defending, how I defend this corner, how I've not committed, and I'm just jockeying, covering passing lane, trying to make that interception when he's coming closer, not giving him any passing options. Cover passing lane, cut passing lane, aggressive tackle, I get the ball. These tips helped me qualify for the FC Pro ladder and I promise they will level your defense too. If you found this helpful, drop a like, let me know your struggles in the comments and subscribe for more pro level tutorials.